Hey there, macro folks. This is Mr. Hooker, and this is video 2 on price controls and quotas. Let's get to it. So, price floors. Now, remember, price floors are the minimum you can pay, and they are set above equilibrium. So, this is like minimum wage. So, here we go. So, this is basically when the government intervenes to push market prices up instead of down. So the generous minimum wage in many European countries is the example they're going to use, and that's contributed to high rate of unemployment and a flourishing illegal labor market. So our minimum wage here in the U.S. is nowhere near as generous, but it is. It's super generous if you look in some. The one I'm most familiar with is France. They have a serious labor problem. It isn't like our labor problem. Their labor problem is people will be unemployed for like, most of a year. So it's kind of crazy how that works out for them. So there you go. So quantity, this time we're looking at butter. The quantity of butter demanded falls to 9 million pounds. Um, so if, equilibrium would have been $1 and 10 million. We're going to have a price floor at a buck 20. And so quantity demanded is now 9 million. Quantity supplied is now 1.2 million. So in that sense, we have a 3 million pound surplus. Okay. So we got a surplus sitting there that we got nothing, we can't do anything with. Um, and there's downward pressure. We're going to hit that price floor, and boom, you're just stuck at the floor. So price floors also have predictable side effects. We've got another dead weight loss, some more inefficient allocation of sales among the sellers, still waste of resources. Now we've got inefficiently high quality, which sounds crazy stupid, but it's true. We'll talk about that one. And a temptation to break the law by selling below the legal price. So let's look at the inefficiently low quality. So a price floor reduces the low quantity, not quality, um, reduces the quantity demanded below the market equilibrium and leads to that dead weight loss. So just like before, your dead weight loss is there from 9 to 10. And so from the price 120 to 80 cent, and it points toward the equilibrium. So like I said, it's always looks like an arrow pointing toward where you should be. So that's the way that looks. All right. The inefficient allocation of sales among the sellers. Um, so instead of sellers, the sales being allocated evenly among the sellers who are willing to sell at the lowest price are unable to make sales. Sellers who go to the sellers who are only willing to sell at a higher price. Um, Examples: the two-tier labor market found in European countries. The high minimum wage leads to that two-tier system composed of the fortunate who had good jobs in the formal market and the rest who are locked out without any prospect finding a job. So, hey, if you're lucky, you got the high paying job, and if you're not, you're just basically screwed. You're not going to find anything, and you're just going to be poor. It's just really a bad system. So that's basically the way that looks. And they also encourage waste, just like the price ceilings did, to deal with the surpluses generated by agricultural price floors. Um, U.S. government sometimes buys back the excess and donates it or destroys it. Um, so, sometime earlier this year, 2025, U.S. completely destroyed just a whole warehouse of food meant for U.S. aid. Um, it was, I think, supposedly it was going to go bad at some point shortly, and they didn't think they could use it before it went bad, so they just destroyed it all rather than give it away. It was the deal with that. The inefficiently high quality, which seems weird, but here's the way that works. So Basically, people would like to buy goods in multiple tiers of quality. So you would like to pay maybe a high price for high quality goods, a medium price for medium quality goods, and a low price for low quality goods, right? So people want to have that choice. Like you don't always want to buy really good, really nice goods at high prices. You would sometimes like that option of some medium quality goods at medium prices and some low quality goods at low prices because sometimes you just don't have that money. But if you have this price floor, well, the only goods available are the high quality goods at high prices. And that's not always what people are willing to buy. And that's the issue we have here with this price floor. Um, the quality's higher than buyers are willing to pay for, and that's all that's available because we've got a floor going down. And the example they use are transatlantic fares used to be set by international treaty. So airlines couldn't offer lower prices, so they offered expensive services instead. Um, so most flyers, however, would prefer lower airfares and less food instead. It's kind of crazy, especially if you go, if you travel abroad, and it's the transatlantic things changed, but if you travel in Europe and you travel um, cross country lines in Europe, that stuff still kind of exists because some of those countries are kind of snooty about the food that they get on a plane. So you'll get some decent food on like very short flights. And it's like, why did I just get that meal on a flight that was like an hour? Like, I got like a full breakfast on a flight that was an hour. Like if you were in the US, they'd have given you a thing of pretzels and a drink. I had a flight. It's been a minute that I took this, but I used to do international programs in Denmark, and I flew into Charles de Gaulle, and then flew from Charles de Gaulle into Copenhagen. And that Charles de Gaulle to Copenhagen flight's like an hour and a half, and they gave me like a full breakfast. Like it was insane. It was a full breakfast, the juice and all that stuff. I'm just like, are you flipping kidding me? Like this flight's an hour and a half. So it was insane how that all went. But the French, man, like you can't mess with the French and their food. Um, and I think that was all about what it was. It was coming out of France. The flight was out of France. So the illegal activity, price floors encourage shadow markets. So there are willing sellers and buyers at illegal prices. So they're tempted to break the law and trade with each other. Um, so, if they can get away with it, they're going to try. So why are there price floors? Same reason there are price ceilings. They do benefit some people. Same ones that benefit from price ceilings, the ones who are better organized and more vocal. And government officials still don't understand supply and demand. That's just not their thing. Like, it would be awesome if we had some economists in Congress. So, like, if you're interested in politics, hey, you know, take some econ classes and go to Washington. Um, so governments sometimes control quantity instead of price, and that would be quotas. So quota is just an upper limit set by the government on the quantity of some good that can be bought or sold, also referred to as quantity control. So your quota limits the total amount of a good under the quota or a quantity control that can be legally transacted. So the license is the right conferred by the government to supply the good. This is why most foreign automakers have plants here in the US because there are quotas on foreign automobiles in the US. You can't bring in but so many foreign automobiles in the US to protect the domestic automakers. Well, if I can't bring in but so many, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to make the rest here in the US. So that's why they just make them here. Um, So the market for taxi rides in the absence of government controls, we would be at like $5 taxi rides for about 10 million rides a year. Um, so, but if for some, it would be there. But if we said, you know what, if we put a quota on this and said you can't have but 8 million rides, then we got dead weight loss there in that little wedge. And so the demand price is basically going to be $4, and they were wanting the supply price is going to be $6, and that creates that wedge. So yeah, that creates a little bit of an issue there. So the wedge, or what we call quota rent, is the difference between the demand price and the supply price at the quota limit, um, equal to the market price of the license when the license is traded. So we're doing some things there and how that goes. So, like the price controls, quotas impose losses on society. So you've got dead weight loss. Some mutually beneficial transactions don't occur. So people would trade. Some trades that would happen in an open market or a competitive market just don't happen. Which, when that happens, that gives us incentives for illegal activities. Unlicensed cabs are side effects of quantity controls, but also an opportunity for alternative models like Uber and Lyft and things like that. And that is it. So that is it. We will see you in chapter 5.